Hello friends, welcome to this session. In this session, let's see few concepts from projectile motion, that is maximum height and time of flight, its a relation, and the questions that are asked in the recent past competitive examinations based on these concepts. So here we go. So what is the projectile motion? When a body is projected with certain velocity u, making an angle theta with the horizontal which is not equal to 90 degree, then that motion is called the projectile motion. See, as shown here, when a body is projected from the ground and finally reaching the ground, projected with a velocity u, making an angle theta with the horizontal, this is called ground to ground projectile. It is starting from the ground and finally reaching the ground. So in this case, the velocity u is making certain angle with the horizontal. Sometimes the angle may be given with the vertical. Now you have to resolve this velocity into components as u cos theta in the horizontal direction and u sin theta in the vertical direction as shown here. If the angle is with the horizontal component of velocity ux is u cos theta and uy initial velocity in y direction, uy is u sin theta. As the body proceeds, its horizontal component of velocity will remain constant as there is no force acting in the horizontal direction, but the vertical component of velocity decreases as it moves ahead. So this decrease in vertical component of velocity is due to the force acting in the vertically downward direction, and that force is nothing but its weight of the body acts vertically downwards always. So due to this gravitational force, the vertical component of velocity changes, but there is no change in the horizontal component of velocity. So at the highest point, its vertical component becomes zero, vertical component of velocity, but the horizontal component will remain u cos theta. So as initial velocity is u, and velocity at the highest point is u cos theta, as there is change in its velocity, there will be change in its kinetic energy too. Right. Now let us see what is the maximum height reached by a projectile projected from the ground with a velocity u, making an angle theta with the horizontal. So initial velocity in the y direction uy is u sin theta. And we know at the highest point, the final velocity becomes 0. Using the equation v square minus u square is equal to 2as. Let us apply this equation for vertical direction. Vy, uy, a in y direction, displacement covered in y direction. See, vy is 0 minus uy, which is u sin theta, its a square, is 2. Acceleration in y direction, nothing but acceleration due to gravity against the direction of motion of the body, so minus g. Displacement is nothing but h. So what is this simplified value? Minus u square sin squared theta is minus 2g h, where h is h max. Cancelling minus on both sides, h comes out to be u square sin squared theta divided by 2g. This is the maximum height reached by a projectile when angle is given with the horizontal. Suppose if angle is given with the vertical, theta angle with the vertical, then your horizontal component would become u sin theta and the vertical component becomes u cos theta. Please make a note of that change. Right. So maximum height is u square sin square theta by 2g. Now let's see what is time of flight. See, the time of flight is the time for which a body remains in the air. When projected from the ground with a velocity u, making an angle theta with the horizontal, up to its maximum height, the time is called time of ascent, and the time for the downward journey is called time of descent. For a ground to ground projectile, time of ascent is equal to time of descent. So in the vertical direction, we know the velocity, initial velocity is u sine theta, and the final velocity here is Vy is 0. Now use V is equal to u plus at equation. Again it is applied in the vertical direction. Vy is equal to uy plus ay into t. T is a scalar, no x direction and y direction for this. So Vy is 0, uy is u sine theta, ay is minus g, and t in this case is time of ascent. It is time of ascent. So gta comes out to be u sine theta. From this, time of ascent is u sine theta by g, the time of ascent. That means from ground to the maximum height. Again, from maximum height to ground, it takes the same time. That is called time of descent. So time of ascent is equal to time of descent in this case. Then what is the time of flight? So the time of flight t is nothing but the sum of time of ascent and time of descent, which is u sine theta by g plus u sine theta by g, which is 2u sine theta over g. This is time of flight, which depends upon initial velocity as well as angle of projection. Understood? Right. Now what is the relation between h and t? See, you have t as 2u sine theta by g. From this, what is u sine theta? Simple rearrangement. U sine theta is gt by 2. Now substitute it in h max, where h is u square sine squared theta by 2g. Can be written as 1 by 2g times u sine theta whole square. In place of u sine theta, you can write gt by 2. So it becomes 1 by 2g times g square t square by 2 square, that is 4. Now you can cancel this g and g square term. Then the remaining part is h is equal to 1 by 8 g t square. Direct relation between h and t. Okay. Or rearranging, what is t? It's a root 8h by g. The time of flight and maximum height are related to each other like this. Okay. Now, based on these concepts, let's have a look at the previous JEE and NEET questions. See, here is a question asked in a recent past JEE main. A ball of mass 100 gram is projected with a velocity of 20 meter per second at 60 degree with the horizontal. The decrease in kinetic energy of the ball during the motion from point of projection to highest point. See, at the point of projection, velocity is u, which is given as 20 meter per second, and at the highest point it is u cos theta, which is 20 into cos 60, where cos 60 is 1 by 2. That means u cos theta comes out to be 10 meter per second. Now initial kinetic energy Ke1 is half into mass of the body, the ball of mass 100 gram, converting it into kg, that is 0.1 into v square, 20 into 20. So this becomes 20 joule. Whereas kinetic energy in the second case, Ke2 is half m u square cos squared theta, because velocity is u cos theta at the highest point. So that is half into 0.1 into u cos theta is 10. So 10 into 10 it is. Okay. Overall it is 5 joule. Now decrease in kinetic energy, nothing but change in kinetic energy, which is 20 minus 5, that comes out to be 15 joule. 15 joule is the correct answer for this question. Next. Another question asked in recent JEE main. two balls with the same mass and initial velocity are projected at different angles in such a way that maximum height reached by first ball is 8 times the maximum height reached by the second ball. That means h1 is 8 h2. Mass is same, initial velocity is same, but their angles of projection are different. If T1 and T2 are the total times of flight of the first ball and second ball respectively, then the ratio of T1 and T2 is, see, instead of using mass, anyway it is independent of mass, instead of using initial velocity and angle of projection, I'll do it in a shortcut method. As we have relation between h and t, directly you can use t is equal to root 8h by g. That makes it easier. You can complete the question quickly using this relation instead of using u and theta relations. So from this 8 is a constant, g is a constant, that means time of flight is directly proportional to root h. Question is about ratio of times of flight. So T1 by T2 is root h1 by h2. What is h1 by h2 from the given relation? h1 is equal to 8 h2. That means h1 by 8 h2 is 8. So root of 8, which is nothing but 2 root 2. So your option is 2 root 2 is to 1. See how easy it is. It can be completed in one step, right? So here at time we provide many such tricks and techniques. For more and more tricks and techniques to enhance your subject knowledge, you can subscribe to the channel Time for IITJEE NEET. Now, here is the question that appeared in a recent NEET paper. A bullet is fired from a gun at a speed of 280 meters per second in the direction 30 degree above the horizontal. The maximum height attained by the bullet is, g value is given as 9.8 and sin 30 value is also provided. Now, directly formula based question it is. Maximum height h is u square sin squared theta by 2g. U value is given as 280. So 280 into 280 by 2 into 9.8 into sin squared 30. Sin 30 is 1 by 2. Sin squared 30 is 1 by 4. Yes. Now, this 4 cancels 280 70 times. This 2 cancels 280 140 times. Now, what is 140 into 70? That is 9800 by 9.8. Nothing but 1000 meter. So the maximum height reached by the bullet is 1000 meter, or sometimes it may be given in kilometer. Then you will have to mark it as 1 kilometer, right? And the last question, another question that appeared in a recent NEET paper. A ball is projected with a velocity 10 meters per second at an angle 60 degree with the vertical. It's a tricky question. This time angle is given with the vertical, not with the horizontal. When a body is projected this way, the angle is given here 60 degree with a velocity 10 meters per second. So its horizontal component is this time u sin theta, whereas the vertical component is u cos theta, because angle is given with the vertical. Now the speed at highest point of its trajectory will be, when the body reaches its maximum height, highest point of its trajectory, we know the vertical component becomes 0, but there is horizontal component. What is horizontal component in this case? This is u sin theta, right? That is the velocity or speed at the highest point. So u sin theta, u is 10, sin 60. Sin 60 is root 3 by 2. So that becomes 5 root 3 meter per second. 5 root 3 meter per second is here in option B. Okay. So hope you have enjoyed this session. With this, I would like to conclude this session here. Thank you very much. See you in the next session.